Hey everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, in this week's guitar lesson, we're going to take a look at an original composition which is made up of two parts. There's a Chet Atkins Fingerstyle rhythm, and there's this bluesy lead that's played on electric guitar on top of that. And so I'm going to show you how to play both of those parts throughout the course of the lesson. In this video, we're going to focus on just the rhythm part. So if you'd like to watch the part 2 video, which will be the lead part, as well as download the tablature and the MP3 jam tracks, which I have in 2 tempos, by the way. I have a slower version as well. You can get all of that at ActiveMelody.com. Just look for EP117. That's a lesson number for this lesson. So let's go ahead and take a look at part 1. Alright, so you're going to want to put away your pick for this one. So we're going to be jumping into this Chet Atkins Fingerstyle rhythm. Now Chet would play, sometimes he'd play with 3 fingers, but most often he'd play with 4 fingers. And the way that you're going to want to orient your fingers is you're going to think of your thumb as your bass player. So the thumb is going to cover strings 6, 5, and 4. And oftentimes it's bouncing back and forth between 2 strings and skipping a string. That's a common scenario. So the thumb is your bass player. Your pointer finger, your index finger covers string 3. Your middle finger covers string 2. And your ring finger covers string 1. And that's how you're going to want to think of orienting your fingers. Now, it's going to seem awkward, especially to pick players, and I know this because I started off as a pick player, and when I just went into fingerstyle, it was so awkward. But what you'll learn over time is it's actually easier because your fingers are touching the string, so you're using the nerves of your fingers to actually feel where you are. Whereas with a pick, you have a piece of plastic in your hand, and you can't. There's some guesswork going on there. So you do have some advantages to playing fingerstyle. It's going to seem awkward in the beginning, but stick with it and break this down really slowly, and over time you'll be able to do it. Some people can do it very quickly, and others it takes a little bit longer. It took me a long time to figure out how to do it, but I drilled myself for like 2 weeks until I could finally get this Chet Atkins rhythm thing going. And it's a lot like patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. You've seen that trick, or you've tried that, I'm sure. That's what fingerstyle playing is. It's kind of using 2 parts of your brain or something, but once you get the muscle memory part, it's very, very easy to do and very relaxing and intuitive as well. Okay, so the way that this thing starts is it starts with an E chord with your left hand. And your thumb is, let's start with what the thumb is going to do. Now the thumb is going to go like this. 6, 4, 6, 4. Those are the string numbers. 6, 4. So you're skipping string 5. The other thing that you'll notice is it's kind of a muted sound, so it doesn't sound like this. And what makes it muted is I rest my hand right here, this part of my hand rests on the bottom 3 strings. Now the trick in muting this is you can't mute all 6 strings because then nothing will ring out. But by resting your hand back here on the bass strings, the bass strings will mute while these top 3 strings will ring out. And so that's going to be the challenge, is just adjusting, and it's somewhere right in here where you can rest your hand, and you'll find it if you just kind of play around with it. You may have to move it forward and back and up and down, but just keep adjusting it until you can get this kind of muted bass thing going. Now, don't try and do it up to tempo. Don't try and do it at the tempo that I started in the beginning if you're not comfortable with it. Just try and get it accurate like this. Okay, now the next thing we're going to introduce is this. So notice with the left hand, I'm still playing the E chord. So here's how we're going to start this. We're going to start it with the 6th string. Now we're going to do 2 strings at once. We're going to do string 2, which is an open string, even though we're going to keep our E chord here. But it's the open 2 string, or the B string, and then we're going to use our thumb on string 4, like that. And notice both of those are being pinched at the same time. So watch this. Now I'm letting it ring out now. I'm not muting it. Just now our thumb goes back to string 6. Now watch this. So what I did there was I played middle finger on the 2 string. Remember, that's always on the 2 string. Pluck that. And then I did a hammer on with my pinky onto fret 2, string 2, like that. At the same time I did that, I plucked with my thumb on string 4. So let's back up and just put those two pieces together. We have so it seems kind of weird, and it's going to be, you'll be frustrated with it, but stick with me. If once you get past the hurdle of it, of the mental hurdle of it, it'll start to get easier. Now the next thing I do is I play string 1 with my ring finger, which is an open string, the open E string, and then I put my thumb on the low E string, or the 6th string. We do both of those at the same time. So let's back up. Now we have. Now the next thing is another another thumb on the 4 string. Now watch this. So there, ring finger on the 1 string, and my pinky is up. My pinky goes up to the 3rd fret, 1st string, and then it slides down. So I don't only pluck it once with my with my right hand, and then I slide it down to the 2nd fret on the 1st string. So if we back up, we have. Now, as soon as I'm losing the sustain a little bit, but as my finger slides down, I play the bass note with my thumb, the 6th string. That's what I meant by the bass note. Now we're going to play the ring finger again on the open 1 string, and now we're going to pinch 2 strings again at the same time. That's going to be the 2nd string and the 4th string. My pinky goes down again on the 2nd fret, 2nd string to play that note. So that's what it sounds like. Keeping the E shape the whole time. Let's back up and put the pieces together now. We have, there's it starts with a low 6th string, or that bass note. Now it repeats. So now, here's what it would sound like up to tempo. And then it repeats. So you can see the importance of this, because that's what somebody, if they're listening to, they would be bobbing their head to, or tapping their foot, or patting along. They're going to hear that bass part. And it really does define the rhythm. Okay, so that's the E part. Then it goes to the A part and goes. Very Chet thing to do, because there's an open string ringing out in that. But so here's how you're going to want to fret this. And Chet would come to this position a lot. He used this little A position a lot. So this is the A part of the song. Now, the way you're going to fret this is your pointer finger goes down on the 5th fret, 2nd string, your middle finger goes down on the 6th fret, 3rd string, and your ring finger goes down on the 7th fret, 4th string. And if you think about where that is, just to make this easier, that's an A chord. So if you think of an A bar chord, that's just those 3 strings out of the A major bar chord. Okay, now, in addition to that, Now here's what happens that's a little different with the thumb this time. So we're going to play the bass notes. Remember the E, we're just going back and forth between 2 strings. Now we're going to go back and forth between 3 strings like this. So it's so once you have this chord, your left hand fretted there, you're going to play strings 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4. That's what the thumb's going to do. So remember, we went from this now to this. Now here's what the melody is going to be. Let's get that part first. So keeping that fretting there with your left hand, we're going to use our ring finger on string 2, and we're going to play string 5 at the same time, like this, which is, the string 5 would be that open A. So it's, there's your 4th string. So we have, now we're going to come down and play the 6th string, and then right after playing that, you're going to use your pointer finger on string 3. So let me back up and do that slowly. We have, now after you play that, you're going to play string 4 again. So when you hear it in context, it's like this. Now we're going to repeat the same pattern with our fingers. The only difference is my pinky goes down, this time on the 7th fret 2nd string, to play this note. Okay, so we have, you can start to hear the melody coming out of it, even though all I did with the left hand was add this one note. Now watch this. So now I took my pinky off, I left these 2 fingers down, and I took my pointer finger and I moved it from the 5th fret 2nd string, and I moved it up here to the 4th fret 1st string, so that I can play this. So you can see that open B string is ringing out. Now Chet would use that technique a lot, where he's got one string that's just ringing out. It sounds really cool. So so the way, it's the same picking pattern with the right hand, but let me just go through it real quick. So we have, now that you've got this shape, you're going to pluck strings 5 and 1 at the same time. And then I'm going to do middle finger on the 2nd string. That's that open string. Now watch this. We're going to pinch strings 3 and 4 at the same time with our pointer finger and our pointer finger and our thumb. I should know my fingers by now. Now we're going to come back and play string 1. We're going to play string 6. So let's put it together. We have, there's middle finger on string 2 again. Now we're going to pinch 3 and 4 again with our thumb and our pointer finger. So we have, you can feel it, you can hear it right once I play it up to tempo. Okay, so let me back up and play the A part up to that point. So we have, now the way we end it is I put my pinky back down on the 7th fret 2nd string and play. So we're going to play strings 2 and 5 at the same time. String 4, string 6, string 3, and string 4 again. So let me do that. Hear it? Alright, let me play through that whole A part now. So we have, I'll do it slowly. Okay, now we're back to the E. Okay, so let me play through everything up to that point. We've got the E part, which we've played through twice. We've got the A part, and then we're back to the E. That's a big chunk of the song. Okay, so now we come to a chord which is a C sharp minor chord. Now here's how you make that chord. You go ahead and bar all 6 strings on the 4th fret, and then middle finger goes down on the 5th fret 2nd string, pinky goes down on the 6th fret 3rd string, and ring finger goes down on the 6th fret 4th string. And we're going to play strings, well actually we're going to play not all of them. We're going to not play the 1 string, but we're going to play everything else. So here's how the picking or the plucking pattern goes with the right hand. Now notice what the bass note's doing first, or the bass player, we'll call him that. It's the same thing that we did over the A chord, so it's string 5, 4, 6, 4. Now that we've got the chord down, the left hand stays the same, but the right hand starts by plucking strings 2 and 5 at the same time. Actually, I'm sorry, not at the same time. It starts with just the 5th string with your thumb, and then you play strings 2 and 4 at the same time. And I use your middle finger and your thumb. Thumb comes down to string 6. Pointer finger goes to string 3. So we have. Now we're going to play thumb on string 4, and then back to middle finger on string 2. So we have. And now we're repeating it by putting our thumb back down on the 5th string and just playing the bass notes on that. And that's what it sounds like. So you can see that bass note thing happens always. It's just in that you never break the rhythm there. So then we switch chords to the G sharp 7 chord. And the way that you make that chord is it's really the same thing as if you made a G sharp major chord, just a major bar chord, barring on the 4th fret, using the E chord shape here with these 3 fingers. But then you take your pinky off, and you get this note, which makes it a 7th chord. So that's a G sharp 7th chord. So that's the chord. So really these 2 fingers are the only 2 fingers that are down other than the bar. And now the bass pattern changes to this. So now it's going to be 6 4 6 4 6 4. And here's what the melody sounds like on top of that. So it's string 6. Now we're going to do strings 2 and 4 at the same time. String 6, string 3 with our pointer finger, thumb on 4, middle finger on 2. So let me back up. We have. And now the bass, the thumb just does the bass part. It's just 6 4 6 4. So when we put it together, it sounds like this. This is definitely one of those songs that's easier to follow with tablature because of all these little nuances. All right, so let me play what happens from the C sharp minor. We'll do the C sharp minor chord and then the G sharp 7th chord. So those 2 chords sound like this. Okay, now you can hear the pattern. The melody part goes like this. Now we're going to bring it down and we're going to play an E 7th chord. And so the melody is going to switch to that. It's the same timing or same cadence, but we're playing different notes and they're kind of going down each time. So now we're down to the E 7th chord. It's just an E chord, but we put our pinky down on the 3rd fret 2nd string. And here's what the bass part is going to sound like. It's another one of these where it's 6 4 6 4 6 4 6 4. And we're going to go. So let me do that slowly. We have same picking pattern as we did on the G sharp 7. Exactly the same. The The only thing that changed between that chord and this is the left hand. The right hand does exactly the same thing. So it starts on string 6, we do these two at the same time, and then we have all these single notes that goes. Okay, now we're going to switch to the A chord. And when we do the A chord, remember the bass does a little different pattern. It goes 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 6, 4, 5. Or it's hard. I can't. Okay, that's something I cannot do. I cannot talk that through and play at the same time. But it's 5, 4, 6, 4. Okay, so the timing of that, it starts with the bass note with our thumb on the 5th string, and then we play strings 2 and 4 at the same time. Oh, with the left hand we're making an A chord, and the way that I do it is I cram all 3 fingers into the 2nd fret. Now you could do it by just barring it as well. It's just whatever you're used to. So bass note on 5, we're going to play strings 2 and 4 at the same time, middle finger and thumb. 6, 3, 4, 2, and then we're going to play that same bass pattern. So it's 5, 4, 6, 4. Let me back up and I'll play the A part again. We have one more time. Okay, we're going to keep the same bass pattern going. We're just going to switch from an A chord to an A minor chord. So the only difference is, if you're making your chord this way, is now your pointer finger's down on the 1st fret, 2nd string. Now here's you'll hear the same bass pattern going on for the A minor chord. Okay, so this part starts the same. So we start with the 5th string. We're going to pinch strings 2 and 4 at the same time. String 6, string 3, and string 4. So that's the same. Now watch this. I threw that in just to mix it up a little bit. And I just put my pinky, keeping the A minor chord with the left hand, I put my pinky down on the 2nd fret, 1st string, and we start that by playing strings 1 and 5 at the same time. Middle finger on string 2, and now we're going to pinch strings 3 and 4 at the same time with our pointer finger and thumb, like that. So we have, and then we're going to take our pinky off. So play the 1 string. So we have thumb on the 6th string, and then middle finger on 2, and then pinching strings 3 and 4 again with our pointer finger and our thumb. So let me play the 2 A parts now. We have and that may be a challenge for you to get that up to tempo. But it's just da 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 da. And actually, with your right hand, it's pretty intuitive and it's not that fast. I mean, it sounds fast, but I think that's just because you have the bass part going on with it. That's what it would sound like without. Okay, so now after the A part, we go back to the E chord. So we go from the A minor to the E chord, and it starts with just the low 6th string. Then we're going to do strings 1 and 4 at the same time. Back to the 6th string, and then we're going to play string 2. and string 4. Alright, so then after that E chord, then we play a C sharp 7th chord, and it sounds like this. And the way that you make that chord, it's actually the same as a C 7th chord. A lot of you know how to make a C 7th. Well, I know you know how to make a C chord. To make a C 7th, you just add your pinky down on the 3rd string on the 3rd fret. That makes it a C 7th chord. Well, you take that same chord shape there and you slide everything up one set of frets. That's a C sharp 7. And the way that we're going to play this is for the bass pattern on this, it's going to be the 5-4-6-4 pattern. And so what you're going to want to do, let me just do this in real time. I'll show you the strings. We're going to start by pinching strings 2 and 5 at the same time. So after we do that, then we're going to do thumb on 4. And then our ring finger, you keep the chord shape, but our ring finger comes up to the 4th fret, 4th fret 6th string to play that note. So we have, and now you do pointer finger on string 3, thumb on string 4. So when you put it all together, it goes. Okay? Let me back up from the A part and play up to that. So we have. Now we're going to do an F sharp minor chord and play it like this. So the bass pattern for this F sharp minor is just going to be 6-4-6-4. So it starts by playing string 6, and so make your F sharp minor chord by barring the entire 2nd fret, and then we take these two fingers, our ring finger and our pinky, and put them down on the 4th fret. Our pinky goes down on the 4th fret 4th string, and our ring finger goes down on the 4th fret 5th string. That's an F sharp minor chord. Think an E minor chord, but you're just moving it up. Okay, so the way that you use your right hand on this one is you're going to play strings 3 and 6. We're going to start with that, and then we're going to play strings 2 and 4. Those two at the same time. Those two at the same time, and then these two at the same time. And then after strings, you do strings 2 and 4. You're going to bring your thumb back to the 6th string, and then play string 3, and then string 4. So let's put it together. We have. Alright, so after the F sharp minor chord, then we have a B 7th chord. And the way that you fret that is your middle finger goes down on the 2nd fret 5th string, pointer finger down on the 1st fret 4th string, ring finger down on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and then pinky down on the 2nd fret 1st string. And you play strings 5 through 1, and that's your B 7th chord. Now the bass pattern for this is 5-4-6-4. So it's one of these. And you can see what my middle finger is doing. It's jumping back and forth between strings 5 and 6 to play that bass part. Okay, so let's go through the plucking pattern here with our right hand. So it starts with our thumb on the 5th string, and then we're going to play strings 1 and 4 at the same time. Then we're going to come down with our middle finger here and play the bass string on the 2nd fret 6th string. So we have. And then we're going to do a middle finger on the 2nd string. And then our thumb on string 4. So slowly, what that B 7th chord looks like. And then we conclude by going to the E chord. And the way that I do the E chord is I just make the E chord shape with the left hand, and I play strings 6 and 1. and then go back and forth between the 6th string and the 4th string on the bass, like that. And then to get back into it, I did this little, and what I did for that is I took my pinky and came up to the 3rd fret 2nd string, slid it down to the 2nd fret, released the pinky so for the open 2 string or the B string, and then put it back down on the 2nd fret 2nd string. So from the E chord we have, and then it repeats and goes through the whole thing. Now that's a lot of material, and hopefully some of you will have to pause parts of this and obviously rewind it, and that's cool. That's what's nice about video. So let me back up and play through this rhythm part. I'll do it slowly, and we'll start it from the beginning. And that is the Chet Atkins rhythm. There's a lot of chords and a lot of coordination with your right hand, but hopefully it may seem overwhelming the first time through, but I bet if you watch this through again, you'll realize there's a lot of repetition that's going on. And so once you get some of these basic patterns down, you'll see that you use them over and over again. And once you get this style down, you can plug in whatever chords you want, and you can be kind of a one-man band with a bass player and your rhythm section and your lead section all with your right hand. That's the beauty of playing this style of guitar. It sounds great on electric guitar as well. Chet would he played probably electric even more than he did acoustic. The other thing to point out is he used a thumb pick, which most players that play this style do use a thumb pick. I've just never been able to make progress with a thumb pick. So you may want to try using a thumb pick, because it does give you a little more of that, that chunky sound that's more true to Chet's sound. I've actually developed a callus on this part of my thumb from playing fingerstyle this way, but whatever is easiest for you. So try a thumb pick if you haven't. All right, I'll see you in the electric lead part in part 2.